Gary asked what do I need to do to get on the agenda, and Lisa told me, obviously she's getting this from someone on the board. I'll just read this to you. Lisa, I don't blame you, you're just the in-between. Good afternoon, James. To answer your question, public comment is the only way to speak at board meetings. Sorry for any confusion, Lisa. That is simply not true. I don't think Lisa told a lie. I think she was repeating something she was told. How many times in the last 2 meetings have we heard people come up and address the board during a regular board? They've been put on the agenda, yet you're denying my ability to get on the agenda to speak, yet you say that public comment is not the appropriate place to address these issues and speak at any length. I would beg to differ, and I want to know why someone, a citizen, can't get on the agenda.
I'll try to answer that for you. I will confer with the state's attorney and make sure that what we're doing is legal. Well, obviously, you're saying that what we're doing may not be.
I didn't say illegal.
Well, I know, but improper is the word I was going to use. And I'll get
Discriminatory would be the
okay.
word I would.
Okay, and I'll get back with you. Is that fair?
Well, is it or is it not true that people can get on the agenda? I mean, they presented you with an award. I've heard Rick Hall and Mayor Mattoon come.
I'm going to try to address it, if you'll let me. Is that fair enough? Please?
Okay, can you confer with the state's attorney?
I will. After this meeting, I will.
Also,
Thank you. Okay, we're, Mr. Gaither.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, I'm Trevor Gaither. I appreciate you all coming. It's summer, July, and it's, you all take time out of your day to come here and serve as the public. There's I guess county employees often for certain community, and we have this public comment. Sometimes it's what the public has to say. It should be, isn't it better to treat it like it's a collaborative process? I mean, instead of let's find a way to uncross the T and, kind of, blot out our eyes or something to make sure that people don't hear whatever truth somebody wants to say. You don't have to agree with it to understand that it's important to somebody in the community to hear. And I think denying it, we spent 13 minutes arguing about somebody not being able to say something that you spent 8 years fighting in court to hide about just filing a wrong employment form. And those people spent so much money, which is stunning, and the time. And people could have just been transparent, just admitted a mistake was made, and man, everybody would have been so much better off, I would think. But everybody gets to make their own choices. You all can make the public comment a joke, and it says a lot about our community, as you all represent it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Donaldo.
I do believe that my First Amendment rights are being squelched because I bring an unpopular message. However, this message wouldn't have been brought several years ago. We all would work to resolve the problem instead of denials. And, about your rules, I just want to say, you can put a rule in place. It's not a law. It's not the law of the land. My First Amendment right is the law of the land. I'm guaranteed that. And your rules don't mean a whole lot. Laws have been broken and violated. This isn't just about filling out the wrong employment form. It's about a whole host of things that were done that were brought to light by the public, that were denied to by the public officials, and actually lied, which is why I wanted to read the depositions here, because you've heard us come here. We've been accused of a lot of different things, and we should be able to give the evidence which these people were under sworn testimony so that you could see for yourself whether or not we were lying or being over dramatic or whatever you want to call it. Because laws were broken, and those are laws. This is just a 3-minute rule. And I have as much right to speak as anyone else, whether you like what I have to say or not. And I'm going to read the depositions because I want you to see, I want everyone to see, especially the ones who've been here long enough, that what we've been saying is the truth. So I would like to turn your attention to the handout. The Office and Rules Committee meeting dated May 4th, 2015. If you'll notice, there was a vote taken there. Notice who was present. Brandon Bell, Paul Daly, Stan Metzger. Corey Sanders was the chairman of the committee then. Kelly Lockhart was there. Okay, so he was in the know. What they did was, if you look down at the bottom, the last series of underlined and highlighted lines, Mr. Daly moved forward the proposal from Bob Becker in the amount of $115,000 for commercial appraisals to the county board for consideration, second by Mr. Weber. What were they voting on? I'd like to draw your attention to the 2 bids. One is Tyler Tech and the other one's Bob Becker's bid. If you look at those, you'll see, if you look at the Tyler Tech bid, it says Tyler Technologies in the upper right-hand side. You will notice that they are asking for a total fee down at the bottom of $517,782.
Mr. Nominator, 30 seconds.
That was a bid to do a commercial reassessment for the county. If you look at Mr. Becker's bid, it says, please consider this bid for the reassessment of commercial industrial properties. These were bids. They were not employment forms that were being filled out. Mr. Becker was never hired as an employee by this county. He was hired as an independent contractor. And not included in your handout is an email from Kelly Lockhart to Corey Sanders, who's the chairman of the committee.
Mr. Knopfler, your time is up.
I'd like time to finish. I would like time to finish this. This is 8 years.
How much time?
About 3 or 4 minutes, probably. I don't know. But I'd like to finish this. I think it's important.
I've read all of the depositions. I know all of this. To read the depositions doesn't.
I'm not going to read the whole deposition. I'm going to read parts of the deposition that's pertinent to the documents that I handed out.
I think we should agree on how much more time you are allotting, because if he says he doesn't know, then that's a reasonable thing.
Well, give me 10 minutes. How's that? 10 minutes. That's all I'm asking for is 10 minutes to finish.
I'm not willing to be special and give you 10 minutes.
I don't want to be
You're not-
special.
Sure you are. Everybody
You
else
think
is
I'm trying to be
getting
special?
10, you're asking for 10. So if the board concurs and wants to give you 10 minutes, I'm okay with it. Otherwise, I think I'm going to apply the rule to everyone else just like I do you, and apply the rule to you just like everyone else, give you 3 minutes.
Point of order. Did you not say you were going to talk to the state's attorney
I
about
will,
all the people?
and there may be case law and things like that out that we don't have available to us, but we can't make that decision in 10 minutes.
When
I'm not
you
gonna
have
do-
some,
I'm not gonna
for
do-
some.
Mayor Hall can address the board for several minutes.
Just hold on.
I'll move. Are we voting? I'll move to allow.
It's open to discussion. What do you want to do?
Okay, I wouldn't mind just wrapping this up. Not that it's going to be wrapped up. I don't mean that to be insulting. I wouldn't mind hearing what Mr. Tomaso has to say after his 8 years of coming here and his investment in the situation. I don't feel right cutting him off.
Any other discussion?
I wouldn't mind hearing what this is going to be. If it's going to be 10 minutes, I know that we have a limited amount of time to do our board meeting, but
I would also like to say that in court hearings, depositions are evidence that will be looked at by a judge, not by this county board to decide. It's for a judge to decide. I've, in my career, read several depositions where I thought it was an open or shut case on either side, only to find out from a judge that that wasn't the case. I've read all the depositions as well. I, again, don't think this is the part that, I don't think this is the place to do this. I don't know what is the place. I don't know what the state's attorney will decide. I thought that the point of a county board meeting was to go through an agenda and finish that. I think that the individuals coming should be going to committee meetings or officer rule
I
meetings.
tried to go to the committee meeting, and then there was no committee meeting.
That was
Because there
what
was no
seemed-
quorum. I took off the work, there was no quorum because people didn't show up. I realized someone had a medical emergency, not holding them back. There was no quorum. So it was no fault of mine. I went to the committee meeting, I approached the executive secretary about getting on the agenda, and there's no other way to address the public board. So what you've done is you pigeonholed me into these 3 minutes, and knowing darn well that I can't finish it. And Tad, I'm just going to say this, you haven't been here the whole time, we
No.
have been, and I understand what you're saying about depositions. I'm not asking anyone to decide the case, but after coming here and us being told that we're not telling the truth, we're causing trouble, it's pretty obvious based on what I'm showing you and what they say in the depositions. It's pretty clear cut, and I want this board to know the truth. Because I don't know who's read the depositions.
I would also like to know what the state's attorney's opinion is once the chairman finds out. What that case law is. Should this stuff be handled in committee, or should this stuff be brought up in an open board meeting? Because I would think if it was in an open board meeting, that would be, these board meetings could essentially take 12 hours if people were to have.
I think this is an exception to the rule. We've stuck with the 3 minutes. But this is like kind of a culmination of many years of things that were on the agenda, have been on the agenda for many years, and have been a source of contention between the citizens of our county and the board members and how things were handled. And I don't think it's right to cut someone off after all this time.
If you're worried about the time limit, I'll gladly give up my 3 minutes and not speak if you refer to this.
And mine too.
And I also read all the depositions, but I wouldn't mind hearing the highlights that Mr. Donasso would like to point out to us after.
This has been going on since 2016, and I think it will continue to go on if we continue to allow repetition. And that is what it is, it's repetition. And in the rules of order, that is one of the things in comments, public comments, that's not to be brought up consistently is repetition.
This is new information that's supporting what
But
they've
it's
been
not
saying.
really new
The
information.
depositions are.
We all have access to depositions. If you're going to quote the depositions, it is repetitious.
Yeah.
We all have access to them.
Don't you know?
If you wish to let the public know about the depositions, I suggest you have a press conference.
It's not just the depositions. I have information and emails that you don't have because of
Okay.
8 years of FOIA requests that,
I'm
well, what are you scared of? You know what, if you would have let me go, all this talk, I would have been done. I would have been finished, but you guys do this every time. Did you read all the
I
depositions?
don't believe this is the
Did
forum.
did you
for
read the
that.
depositions?
That's not the issue.
The issue is you didn't do it.
Depositions
Start
are
them
not.
off.
I'll ask for a vote that you let him speak for how many minutes?
I'm asking for 10, it probably won't take 10.
So you spoke for 3, so you get 7 more minutes. Yea or nay?
Are we going in order, or are we just?
Yeah, we'll take a vote.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I think I like to hear people. I've tried to sit down and talk with people. This wouldn't be my issue. My issue is we are now breaking our own policy. And from what I've always been told with where I work, if we break our own policy, that sets us up. So I think it's very kind of some people in the gallery to give up their time. We also have the 30-minute time limit. Maybe we can agree that it won't. I'm afraid for us to break our own rules. That's not that I'm afraid to hear what Mr. Donasso has to say or anyone else. I've done this now 4.5 years. I just worry about, and maybe the state's attorney can talk about that, we're breaking our own policy that we put in place. I know it's not a law. I hear everything that's being said.
There's laws
I just
that are
worry about, well, I understand your comment about First Amendment. I'm just thinking as what happens, I think we get in trouble when we break our own policies. That's what I'm told that my work, I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's what I would worry about. I'm not afraid to hear anything that anyone has to say. I would respect that. Maybe that's what we should think about. Is this a slippery slope that we start?
Well, before you say that, I showed up at the Office of Rules Committee, you weren't there, there was no
We
quorum.
were asked
I would have been
to
able
create a
to
resolution
stay there because your
about
chair
public
said that we
comment,
could speak,
and
so
we did that.
I was shut out of that
And we
meeting.
were asked to break it
I was shut out.
by the same people that asked us for a resolution.
I agree.
And there's always exceptions to rules. It doesn't mean we're now getting rid of our own policy.
Any other comment? I'll ask for a vote from the board. Do we let him speak for an additional 7 minutes, or do we adhere to our rules and 3-minute rule? Roll call.
Purdy? No. Adhere to the rule.
Shook?
No.
Watts? No. Bennett?
No.
Clayton?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes, make a one-time exception to the rule.
Doty?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Before I vote, and I know this isn't procedure, but I know we have allowed people to give up their time before. So I don't care if he uses other people's time. But as far as breaking our rule, I'm going to vote no because I don't want to break our policy.
Friesen?
I will concur with him, no.
Mason?
No.
Cox?
No.
So you'll break the law, but you don't want to break the
8-3,
3-minute policy.
no.
Break the law.
Mr. Knopfler, your time's up.
You guys don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear the truth.
Point of order. Point of order. What's wrong with the rest of the people who signed up that had 3 minutes that they can't give their 3 minutes to him? What's so wrong? It's still time. What's so wrong with that? Because I'd gladly give my 3 minutes up.
I'm not going to go down that. I'm not going to go down that road. One person could monopolize public comment. If we did
I'm
that.
not monopolizing,
I'm
you're
not
voluntarily
going
giving
there.
you the time.
I'm not
You're
going there.
avoiding the truth
I
once
believe
again.
that the discussion is over. As we voted, it's time to.
30 minutes and 30 minutes, Darrell.
People have given their time to other people in the past, so
That
we already did set a precedent for that.
I'm not going to do that.
You guys don't want to hear the
Mr.
truth.
Scott.
I don't believe it.
Or stop, I'm sorry. You're up.
Well, I'd like to have Mr. Donasso keep speaking. Would that be all right? Asking too much?
No, that would not be all right.
All right.
Where's it against the rules?
It's in the rules.
It's not in the rules.
We voted against it.
It's in the rules.
Well, I
It doesn't say anything about
I
your
suppose
3
we ought to
minutes.
move on. We've just finished July 4th.
What's my rights?
We're in a struggle for freedom and liberty. I don't know that it really means that much to people. In fact, I don't know that they know what it is. I don't think you know what it is. Now, in matters of public debate here, truth wouldn't hurt to be talked about for a little bit. You might not like some people raising their voice, and I can understand that. But you know what? Let's have a little truth and let's learn, and it wouldn't hurt to relearn, because we sure have lost a lot. You don't have to sit up there, Mr. Cox, like old King George, and not be flexible. You don't have to do that. You could be a little bit gracious. It wouldn't hurt to be that we all need to be told once in a while how things really ought to be, and we certainly have lost it. Yeah? You don't believe me, do you? You think everything's just fine. That's the truth. We've lost it. There's not much left. All we do is vote no. Whew.
Citizens have no recourse, none. Nothing.
People, look what happened the last several years. Look what happened. We had votes that were mixed up, revotes, mistakes. A lot of times people were confused. It wouldn't hurt to relearn it. It wouldn't hurt to talk about it. Shoot.
This says more about the board than it does about me, I guarantee you that.
Mr. Perry.
Well, y'all table. You're all supposed to be representatives of the people. But for some reason, you don't represent the people. You represent the government. You forgot about who the people are. And it's really evident when I start reading to you what's going on. 2015, county board and taxing bodies meet to develop a plan to reassess commercial and industrial properties, leaving the taxpayers out of the meetings and the loop of information. That happened, folks. Bob Becker fiasco. Becker hired to reassess property by county board. County board can't decide if he's an employer or a contractor. County changes his employment status. Happened. Coles County, during this period, Coles County ranks third in the state for the highest property tax rate, beating out Champaign, Decatur, Springfield, and Peoria. It's a matter of fact. People on this board took health insurance illegally after being told that it's illegal, and the county has no proof of a resolution for health insurance ever existed. County board had the option to correct the situation and refused to do so. Okay? County board members receiving preferential treatment at tax assessor's office. Paul Daly not paying a commercial rate on his building for 27 years, even though he was running a business out of it. It was reassessed, and then the building was given 3 separate depreciation schedules instead of one. Building still not properly assessed. Former board chairman Mike Zuholm got his taxes lowered without having to file a complaint. Just went in and they lowered them. Former board member Mark Degler taking 3 months vacation to Florida for 3 or more years to play pickleball and collected county checks while on vacation. Board member Brandon Bell missing meetings and collected salary and benefits while he's working another job. Former Sheriff Darrell Cox, elected to the county board, was caught taking confiscated evidence, firearms that were to be disposed of, but he didn't dispose of them. He sold them instead. State police did investigation, determined charges should have been filed. State's attorney's office refused to file charges. So all I'm saying to you, after 8 years of this nonsense, how in the world can we trust anything you do, and all you do is reinforce just what you did over a 3-minute ordeal with James? I don't get it. There's something wrong, and it's been wrong for a long time. It's here. You can't look past it. You got to face it and fix it.
Thank you. Mr. David Perry, is that right?
I'll pass.
Pardon?
I'll pass.
Mr. Rex Dukeman.
First of all, I'd like to say that the folks in this room represent the people of this county. A lot of times people will moan and groan about the local, state, federal government. You folks actually have a chance to do what's right for your people in your county. That's all I'm asking for, is do the right thing. We have 2 board members here that have sat idly by for the last 8 years and have condoned what their leadership took them down the wrong path. 8 years ago, if the board chairperson had admitted they did wrong, they could have fixed the situation, but they chose to go the other way and drag it out, costing taxpayers and citizens thousands and thousands of dollars. I would hope that we have so much new blood on this here board. Now's the time to think about the direction you want to go as board members. Don't go down the same path this previous board did. There's a lot of good people here, and you're all from Coles County and have been all your lives. But to me, I still say that anybody that was on that board in 2017 should not be allowed to be on any county board committee or ever hold any type of a status as far as county board ever get. Mrs. Purdy and Rick Shook both should resign. That's just how I feel. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I only have one comment. As somebody was speaking and mentioned the lack of any proper resolution or ordinance giving past county board members health insurance. One of them I saw you mouth that there was such a resolution or ordinance. Nobody's produced one.
In 1977.
It wasn't ready.
We sent FOIA requests in for a copy, and nobody
And we all
has
have copies
produced
of
one.
that.
So now I'm going to FOIA again, and you know what will come back? No such document.
Well,
That's what
I'm
happened
sure it
before.
was
I
sent to
think
you
the
because
77 was
we
not a
got the-
resolution.
We got a copy of it.
I think the 77 was not proper.
So this is how it's gonna be. I want to thank Mike Clayton and
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. That's the end of public comment. Next on the agenda, approval of the minutes. Any discussion? I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Dowdy,
Second?
second by Ms. Purdy. Roll call.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts, Bennett,
Yes.
Clayton,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Friesland,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Cox.
Yes. Appointments. Looks like we have several. One appointment to the county board, Andrew McDivitt, until 2024. I believe Mr. McDivitt's in the room. And he needs to be sworn in. Who's going, you are doing that. Mr. McDivitt, come forward, please. Our county clerk is going to swear you in. Before we do that, I guess we do have to do the advice and consent of the board. I'm sorry. That's card before the board. Roll call.
Do we need a motion for that?
No, a motion. A motion by Mr. Dowdy. A second by Mr. Doty. Now we go.
All right, Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Clayton,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Friesland,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Cox.
Yes. I'll try this again. Swear you in now.
Do you have any family with you? Nice to meet you, by the way. If you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Andrew McDevitt, is it Devitt? Having been appointed to the office of County Board, District 6, in and for the County of Coles and State of Illinois, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Coles County Board to the best of my ability. Thank you. All right, we'll have you sign this out.
Yep.
You can be seated. Yeah, right over here. Okay.
Welcome. We have two appointments to the Coles County Mental Health 708 Board. David Logan and Mark Donnell, obviously be those one at a time. Any discussion? Entertain a motion from.
Before we,
Pardon?
I
I'm
just
sorry.
want to say that we have 4 appointments we're making, and I was really pleased with the information that everybody turned in, and it seemed like we have an excellent set of candidates, so I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to accept David Logue to the committee.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Bennett, second by Mr. Friesland.
I have a question. Can I vote if he's my cousin?
Can't wish, probably not.
Now we know.
Now we know, yeah.
Okay, and this is,
Advice and consent of the board, roll call.
this is just for David.
This for David Love.
Okay.
Correct.
McDevitt, this is your first time to vote. Yeah.
You can abstain if you don't feel comfortable.
Yes.
Yes, you will abstain, or yes, you're voting yes.
I guess I will abstain since I have. Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts, Bennett,
Yes.
Clayton,
Abstain.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Friesland,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Cox.
Yes. And the next appointment to the 708 board is Mr. Mark Donnell. Any discussion?
I'll move, I make a motion to approve, Mark.
A motion by Ms. Purdy, a second by Mr. Doty. Mark Donnell, advice and consent of the board. Roll call.
McDevitt, I'm sorry, is it McDevitt?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, McDevitt, get this right.
Yeah. I will abstain.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts, Bennett,
Yes.
Clayton,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Friesland,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Cox.
Yes. We have two appointments to the Public Health Board, Matt Bauer and Bernie Ranchero, until June of 2026. Again, we'll separate those two. Mr. Bauer will be the first one. Any,
Also move, I make a motion to approve Matt Bauer.
a motion by Ms. Purdy, a second by Mr. Clayton. Matt Bauer, advice and consent of the board. Roll call.
McDevitt,
Yes.
you're voting yes, correct, okay, thank you. Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts, Bennett,
Yes.
Clayton,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Friesland,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Cox.
Yes. And Mr. Ranchero.
I'd like to make a motion to accept Bernie Manchero.
A motion by Mr. Bennett, second by Ms. Corey. Bernie Ranchero, advice and consent of the board. Roll call.
McDevitt,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts, Bennett,
Yes.
Clayton,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Friesland,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Cox.
Yes. Next up are committee reports. First one is building and grounds, Mr. Bennett.
Mr. Chairman. The Building and Grounds Committee met on June 26, 2023. The Building and Grounds Committee met at 5:30 p.m. with the following members in attendance: Rick Shook, Nancy Purdy, Ted Friesland, Gail Mason, and Bob Bennett, Chair. Also attending were Steve Simpson, Maintenance, and Ed Schneers and Craig Epperson, Coles County Coroner, Vicki Beabout, and Lisa McMichaels, Administrative Assistant. Maintenance update: Mr. Simpson shared with the members the update on current projects. He stated 95% of the courthouse windows are complete. He also added the architects are presently looking at the elevator projects. Old business none, new business. Committee members were presented with the details of an ARPA grant request from Mr. Steers and Mr. Epperson. After much discussion, a motion to forward this application to the ARPA committee was made by Ms. Purdy and was seconded by Mr. Friesland. Motion carried unanimously by 5 votes, no nays. Miscellaneous business none. Adjournment. The meeting adjourned at 6:27 p.m. with a motion by Mr. Friesland and was seconded by Ms. Purdy.
I had one question about that. I spoke to Mr. Schneers, and he's of the mind that he has to have a estimate before he can turn in his application to ARPA. What's the status of that?
Well, I was told there was an application that's been presented. Is that correct?
He has to have architect, I mean, he has to, yes.
Well, his thing was that his, estimate was gonna cost $13,000 or $14,000
For an architect.
for the architect.
Right.
And,
That's right.
okay, so he's still going to have that, and I guess, he have the money for that.
But Ed's pretty independent, takes care of business, and when he asks for something, he probably needs it.
Well, it's just, I didn't want to see him spend $13,000 or $14,000 and then turn it down for the ARPA. Pardon?
I'll talk to him.
That'd be great. 'Cause I think he's got an estimate of amount of money per square foot. And I think that would probably serve for the estimate as opposed to actually going and getting an architect.
We need to know what kind of bathroom he has, what kind of facilities for water, is he sink, shower, etc. How much of a unit is he gonna have in there for the quote more?
I believe he's
So
covered those.
all of that, before it was $224,000, please give it to me. And we needed more for that. So the more he can fill in on his application, the better off he's gonna be.
I just didn't think it was wise to have an architect give us at a $12,000 or $13,000 cost, and then at some point say, no, we're not gonna do this.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think we ever said you have to have an
Okay.
architect, but you need to know how much stuff costs. Like how much does a unit?
He did, he told me it would cost approximately $200 per square foot.
And that's not gonna be enough for me, by the way.
Okay, that's fine.
I want to add that Ed was very conservative. He had been saving that money out of his own budget this year, so verify.
Okay. All right, I just wanted to clarify that.
Very nice.
Next is Cooperative Extension Board. Ms. Corey?
There was no meeting, we have a subcommittee meeting next week, and the full board meets at the beginning of September.
Thank you. County Office and Rules Committee, Ms. Corey.
No meeting because we didn't have a quorum.
Emergency Food and Shelter Board, Mr. Dowdy.
No meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Emergency Telephone System 911 Board, Mr. Shook.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a meeting Thursday afternoon, just for a little while. I thought I'd let you folks know that we had full-time dispatchers for the 911 center. We had 15 of them. Now we're down to 13. And we also have 5 people in training, and we had 3 dispatchers part-time. We're having a tough time getting people to hang in there. Nobody wants to work no more, Mr. Chairman. That's all there is to it. And the dispatchers have a contract coming up, and we're hearing that maybe they're going to want quite a bit or whatever, but I want to let you know, Mr. Chairman, that we're going to treat them fairly, and we'll just have to see what happens. But we will treat them fairly. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Finance Committee. Finance Committee was called to order at 5 p.m. with the following members present: Nancy Purdy, Mike Watson, Darrell Cox, Chairman presiding. Unable to attend was Mike Clayton. Also attending were board members Gail Mason, Denise Corey, Vicki Beabout, and Lisa McMichael, Administrative Assistant. Treasurer's report. The first distribution will be on June 29th. The first installment due date is July 7th. Old business, a resolution regarding the window replacement grant was shared with the committee. After discussion, Mr. Watts motioned to forward to the county board and was seconded by Ms. Purdy. The window replacement grant is also attached. It's awarded, Coles County was awarded a $200,000 grant, and whereas these funds will be deposited in the general fund and used for the grant requirements, Coles County Maintenance is requesting that the grant funds be included, and now therefore be resolved that the county board increase the revenue line item to the budget in the amount of $200,000. Be it further resolved that the county board increase the expense line item in the amount of $200,000. I'll entertain a motion.
And I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Watts and a second by Ms. Purdy. Any discussion? Roll call.
McDevitt, Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Clayton?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Doty?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Friesland?
Yes.
Mason?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes. The committee was also presented with a resolution regarding salary adjustments for supervisor assessments, public defender, and sheriff. A motion was made by Ms. Purdy to forward to the county board. Mr. Watt seconded. Unanimous ayes, 3, no nays, 1 absent. Mr. Clayton. That resolution. Am I not?
Technology, technology first, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, let me back up. The technology grant. Ms. Purdy motioned to forward the resolution to the county board with a second by Mr. Watts. Unanimous, 3, no nays, 1 absent was Mr. Clayton. Technology modernization grant. Whereas the Coles County Judiciary was previously awarded the following grant, technology modernization, $48,584. And whereas Coles County Judiciary has been awarded the following additional grant, technology modernization, $1,368. Whereas these funds will be deposited in the general fund, and whereas Mitchell Schick, Coles County presiding judge, requested that this grant fund be included, and now therefore be resolved that the county board to increase the revenue line item to the budget by the amount of $1,368. Now therefore be it resolved that the county board to increase the expense line item by the amount of $1,368. It's obviously an in and out. I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Dowdy, second. By Ms. Corey. Any discussion? Roll call.
McDevitt? Purdy?
Yes.
Shook?
Yes.
Watts?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Clayton?
Yes.
Corey? Yes. Doty?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Friesland?
Yes.
Mason?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes. The committee was also presented with a resolution regarding salary adjustment for supervisor assessments, public defender, and sheriff. A motion was made by Ms. Purdy to forward to the county board. Mr. Watts seconded. Ayes unanimous, 3, nays, none, absent. Clayton. This resolution. Whereas the cost of living adjustment has increased for the state's attorney's salaries by 4.6%, and whereas the state of Illinois requires an increase to the Coles County Public Defender and Coles County Sheriff based upon this COLA, now therefore be resolved that the Coles County Board adjusts the salaries of the following county officials. Public Defender, as of 8/15 of 23, $177,693, and Sheriff, as of 8/15, $157,949. And the rest, it's the same resolution for the salaries on the supervisor
Yeah,
assessment.
hers is the same as it was.
And it is, we already voted this, didn't we?
For her, but this is just kind of like one resolution, it's a state, it's a state mandatory, you know,
Okay.
for PTAC.
And that resolution is for the fix the salaries of supervisor assessment. It was 1% per year for 2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026. And those numbers are 55,550, 56,106, 56,666, and 57,233. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
are we voting for the public defender and sheriff
Yes.
all together?
Yes.
It's all of one resolution, correct?
from the state.
Well, I don't like one of them.
It's a state, I mean, it's not the county that's raising them, it's the state.
Their salaries are a portion of the state's attorney's
Yeah,
salary.
I still don't like it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Any further discussion? I'll entertain a motion. A motion by Mr. Clayton, a second. Second by Mr. Purdy. Roll call.
Second by Purdy?
Yes.
Second.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
McDevitt?
Abstain.
Purdy?
No.
Watts?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Clayton?
Yes.
Corey? Yes. Doty?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Friesland?
Yes.
Mason?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes. There was no miscellaneous business in the meeting adjourned at 5:08 PM on a motion by Mr. Watson, second by Mr. Curry. Health and Safety Committee.
Mr. Chairman, do you have an ARPA funds resolution?
Where am I at here? Oh, I'm sorry. I got one more. I don't see that.
It's lifelinks.
Is it?
It's a project, yeah, they just got it from the last meeting.
What about health and safety?
It's in the health and safety.
That's right.
Is that for all those P-tax forms?
Feedback show, that's pretty, works for everything.
I'm not fine with it.
Go to health and safety and then just scroll up a little bit.
Health and safety. Let's go to liquor. Health and safety meeting.
Big or mine?
Sure. Okay, resolution to use ARPA funds. I'm going to skip to the resolution. Now therefore be resolved by the Coles County Board shall make American Rescue Plan Act, state and local fiscal recovery funds available, and shall authorize the county treasurer to properly record such distribution and assign the same as budgeted. The amount not to exceed $75,000 shall be made available to the Coles County Mental Health, Lifelinks, Public Health, and Premium Pay from the Coles County Finance Committee, dated the 13th day of June 2023.
Can I ask what that means for public health and premium pay?
It was in the ARPA grant application.
It's within the guidelines for the use of funding, and it's consistent with what we do with both county employees and then other service providers.
Most of the premium pay is like to pay for
What
what
are the
I
categories
see.
that they apply?
I didn't know what, I seen that.
So this has been sort of, a source of contention for me in the past. So we're giving premium pay to people who remained employed during COVID.
Not just employed, but went to work.
Okay.
They asked for $131,750. We passed 75.
I'll express that I'm still not for giving money to people who remain whole until we've fixed anyone we can who did not remain whole during COVID.
Any further discussion? I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Watts, second. By Ms. Purdy. Roll call.
McDevitt?
Abstain.
Purdy?
Yes.
Shook?
No.
Watts?
Yes.
Bennett?
No.
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 Clayton?
Yes.
Corey?
No.
Doty?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Yes.
Friesland? Mason?
Yes.
Cox?
No.
You vote 7 yes, 4 no's, and 1 abstain.
Thank you. Okay. Back to health and safety now.
Yes.
Okay, health and safety meeting was on June the 26th. Mr. Hilgenberg's report. One siren did not work. The officer could not activate the sirens for MAC 2. The EMA post van has been removed from Cooks Mills Fire Department. Mr. Hilgenberg was the fire chief at Cooks Mills, and he's no longer the fire chief, so he couldn't leave the EMA equipment at the Cooks Mills Fire Department after he resigned or retired. It's at his house for now. Looks like that, at the end of that.
Yeah, there's nothing.
That's the end of that report then. Now, it doesn't say when we adjourn.
I think
If you scroll up just one more page, Mr. Chairman.
It's in the 10. Oh, okay, here we go. Maybe I should start over. The Health and Safety Committee was called over at 4:30 with the following members present: Denise Corey, Ted Friesen, and Gerald Cox, chair. Mr. Dowdy was unable to attend. Also attending were Mr. Hilgenberg, EMA Director Julie Dieters, Care Center Board Member Gail Mason, Vicki Gabout, Lisa McMichael as Administrative Assistant. EMA update: Mr. Hilgenberg gave the monthly EMA report. Care Center update: Ms. Dieters and the committee had a discussion on taking dogs from Clark County. She explained she is unable to take on more animals at the shelter. Ms. Dieters added that Mark's Pet Care donated a pallet of food. She also received a donation of $5,000. No old business, no new business, no miscellaneous business, no public comment. The meeting adjourned at 5 p.m. with a motion by Ms. Corey and a second by Mr. Friesen. Okay. Next up is the Insurance Committee. Ms. Purdy.
No local meeting, but the sermon meeting will be July the 26th in Bloomington, and I will attend.
Thank you. Next is the Liquor Commission. The Liquor Commission of June 27th, 2023. The Coles County Liquor Control Commission was called to order at 3:30 p.m. with the following members present: Gail Mason, Darrell Cox, chairman. Also attending were Paul Law, Vicki Beabout, and Lisa McMichaels, administrative assistant. Mr. Cox and Ms. Mason reviewed the Bella Vita private resort application with Mr. Law. After discussion, Ms. Mason made a motion to approve the application. Mr. Cox seconded. Unanimous, 2 nays, none, absent 1. The meeting adjourned at 3:50 with a motion made by Ms. Mason and seconded by Mr. Cox.
And I just wanted to say, this is where Springhaven was, where the statue of Lincoln still resides.
Thank you. Mental Health Board, Mr. Friesen.
No meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Planning and Development Commission, Mr. Wallace.
No meeting for lack of quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Public Health Board, Mr. Dowdy.
No meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Road and Bridge Committee, Mr. Dowdy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We did have a meeting. The Road and Bridge Committee was called to order at 5:05 p.m. on June 26th. The following members present: Rick Shook, Bob Bennett, myself, chairman, presiding. Jeremy Dowdy was not able to attend. Also attending were Rick Johnson, County Highway Engineer, Vicki Beabout, and Lisa McMichaels, administrative assistant. There was no old business. Under new business, Mr. Johnson presented members surfacing on County Highway 18. Motion by Mr. Shook was made to forward to the county board. Mr. Bennett seconded, and at this time I so move.
Second. Motion by Mr. Dowdy, second. Roll.
Purdy?
Yes.
Shook?
Yes.
Watts?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Clayton?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Doty?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Friesen?
Yes.
Mason?
Yes.
Cox?
Resolution for improvement under Illinois Highway allotted to Coles County for construction costs of roadway improvement project. Motion was made by Mr. Bennett to forward to the county board and a second by Mr. Shook. At this time I so move.
Motion by Mr. Doty, a second by Mr. Shook. Any discussion? Roll call.
McDevitt?
Abstain.
Purdy?
Yes.
Shook?
Yes.
Watts?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Clayton?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Doty?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Friesen?
Yes.
Mason?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
Number 3, an intergovernmental agreement with Lafayette Township for cost and duty responsibilities for bridge replacement on Township Road 215, also known as 450 North. Mr. Bennett moved it forward to the county board for approval, and it was seconded by Mr. Shook. And at this time, I so move.
Motion by Mr. Doty, a second by Mr. Dowdy. Any discussion? Roll call.
McDevitt?
Abstain.
Purdy?
Yes.
Shook?
Yes.
Watts?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Clayton?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Doty?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Friesen?
Yes.
Mason?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
Rick Johnson, County Highway Engineers report was distributed to the members for review. The discussion following. There was no miscellaneous business. There was no public comment. The meeting was adjourned at 5:20 with a motion by Mr. Bennett and seconded by Mr. Shook.
Citizens Tax Levy Committee, Ms. Purdy.
This is a one-time-a-year meeting. The committee met on June the 30th at noon at the Lifespan Center in Charleston. In attendance were members Mike Watts, Linda Podesky, Roxanne Fry, Mariah White Landris, and myself as committee chair. Also in attendance were Kim Edwards, Executive Director of the Coles County Council on Aging, and Sierra Naluso, Fiscal Director of the Coles County Council on Aging. The committee discussed the historic data and information regarding the original resolution for this levy, reviewed the fiscal year 21-22 annual report, discussed the fiscal year 22-23 priorities for the funding, discussed the resolution funding allocations for fiscal year 22-23, and discussed the fiscal year 22-23 applications for funding, which are the same three entities that have applied in the previous years. They're the only ones who qualify, those three. The resolution for funding for fiscal year 22-23 was tabled unanimously on a motion by Podesky, seconded by White Landris. The committee is requesting additional application information from each agency. Once the additional information is received from the applicants, the committee will reconvene to discuss funding allocations. And the meeting was adjourned at 1:11 p.m.
Thank you. Sheriff and Law Enforcement Committee, Corey.
The Sheriff and Law Enforcement Committee met on June 27th at 5:30 p.m. with the following members present: Rick Shook, Bob Bennett, Gail Mason, and Denise Corey, Chair. Mike Bates was unable to attend. Also attending were Sheriff Ken Martin, Board Member Nancy Purdy, Viva, and Lisa McMichael, Administrative Assistant. Sheriff Martin explained that the June report would be distributed to the members the following week because of just the timing of things, since we had to move the meeting due to the holiday. In old business, Sheriff Martin discussed they've hired 2 telecommunicators. They will be starting, or hopefully they already started, they're starting in July. He also shared with us that they're down a cook, and so they were able to kind of think outside the box and send some trustees, which are inmates who help with food preparation, send them to the Coles County Health District to receive a food safety certificate so they can assist further in the kitchen. We all thought that was a pretty great idea.